Well, good evening, Facebook family. Good evening, YouTube family. Good evening to everybody who's watching. It's your girl Bella with another Bela Biz Unplugged. I hope everyone is having a super fantastic Thursday. I know I am. And we're day 4 into Black History Month. And as everyone knows, although it's been segmented for February, we all know that Black History Month is what? 365 days in a year. Well, I hope everyone is enjoying their evening, whether you're just getting off of work, if you've been working from home, if you're doing your dinner. I just want to say thank you for joining us tonight. We count it all on joy. We know that you could be anywhere, but you intentionally, hopefully set your schedule to be with the Bela Biz Unplugged tonight from 7 to 8. Let me get right into it. For those who know, I am very honored and humbled to have a great, I'm going to say, essential worker in harm's way, medical profession person that I can call my queen, and I can also call my sister, who I'm going to stop right here during Black History Month and say thank you before I go any further for being in harm's way to help us. We do know that we still are in this pandemic. We're going to be talking about COVID-19 this evening from a medical professional. Facts. Again, not myth, facts. We have a medical professional staff that's here that's going to educate all of us, the village. So please, I urge you, get your notebooks, get your iPads, get whatever you need to get to jot this down. We're going to school tonight to be schooled, all right? So thank everybody for joining us. Let's go right into it. I have with me tonight the illustrious, I call her Dr. Jacki. Jacki Edwards is a board certified family nurse practitioner. She's also the founder and CEO of Jacki Edwards Events and More LLC and How May I Help You. Now, for those who've been following Bela Biz, I'm going to test y'all tonight because we do have topics each and every time we come on the air. And tonight's topic is, and I love it, how may I help you? All right. Without further ado, because this is very important tonight, I've got my very important glasses on. I've got my notebook ready to run, and I'm old fashioned with the pen. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dr. Jacki Edwards to the audience. Jacki, take it away. How you doing this evening, Queen? Stay with us, family and friends, because it looks like we might have a little freeze up going on here. You all know this is live. We're going to be patient. Hopefully, Dr. Jacki can hear us. She's probably going to leave the studio and come back, and that's fine. Y'all know we keep it real. Nothing is ever 100%. We're in this virtual world that we live in. I know she's going out, and she's going to come back in. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. I see Michelle Davis out there. Hello, Queen. Thank you for joining us. I see Ashley Bullets out there. Hello, Ashley. I see Dr. Scott. Hello, Dr. Scott. Thank you for joining us. I am really excited. I am just simply stalling a little bit, but I do want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I do mean what I say. I count it all on joy. You could be anywhere that you want to be tonight. And Bella has a little following going on, and I appreciate that. Black History Month is very sacred to me, and we are in the day 4, but this is the Bela Biz day of what I call the health month, right? This is the month of February. I've got a lot of great programming coming on for this month, and with intention, I want to make sure as a family that we are armored up to make sure that we understand what this COVID-19 is all about and vaccines. So I just ask everyone to continue to just hang in there with us. This is a very important moment in time. We will not rob you of your time, but just bear with us with the technical difficulties. I am going to tell you, Dr. Jacki and I were talking backstage before she came on, and she's the real deal, y'all. She works 24/7, and she's taking a break. She just got off of her 12-hour shift, and she is in a hotel. I'm not sure where Jacki is, but maybe Dr. Jacki will tell us when she comes back on. But she took the time to come off of her shift to share some very important information. So you all know, sometimes when you got good stuff going on, that devil can be sometimes busy, but you know what? We're going to beat him out tonight. So bear with us as Jackie comes back on to start talking to us about COVID-19 and vaccine. I do know for a fact, we've talked many, many times, and she's definitely focusing in on all of the people who are COVID-19 stricken. Jackie will tell you more about what she does, but I know she travels and she actually goes into her patients' homes. And I believe she'll expound more on that in terms of if they're not able to go out themselves. So, Jackie, I was trying to kind of show them what I'm working with and tell them about you, but I'm going to get out the way and let you take it from here. Introduce yourself and let these lovely folks know where you are and what you're doing.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me on this special show, Miss Bella, on this Thankful Thursday. I am truly grateful to be a part of this special Black History Month and to be a part of your show to help bring more education and awareness to what's going on in the health world. And I am a travel nurse practitioner, just received my doctorate degree in December. Yes, Doctor of Nursing practice. And so I am very excited about it. I'm excited. I get to travel the state of Georgia. I meet over 1,200 people one-on-one each year. I'm very busy. I am right now in my hotel room, so I hope that this Wi-Fi here will continue to work. And so it's the beauty of what I do. I get to meet so many people. I get to tell them about preventive medicine. I get to see a lot of people who are sick and those who are trying to get well. And so it's an awesome job. And I bring to everyone on this medium tonight just some news, just some old news, just to reinforce some things because we need to stay healthy. We're really in times that we haven't witnessed in our lifetime. And so many of us, at least. And so we want to stay healthy.
Absolutely essential worker, that you definitely are absolutely a traveling profession, and that due to things that always don't seem right, that the wi-fi went out, that you were traveling, you were actually in a hotel, and that you
Yes.
worked your 12-hour shift and you took the time after the shift to share some information with us. So I wanted to set it up for you. So Jackie, I
Thank
want
you.
the audience to get to know you the way I do a little bit better. Talk a little bit, please, about your background, how you came to be in this profession, and absolutely what you're doing now, because we're going to talk about how may I help you tonight.
So I started out in this profession back in, I believe, in the 80s when the terrorists hit the towers in New York and the business world went really badly. I worked for Marriott for about 7 years prior to the bombing of New York City. And it was then went to nursing. I was looking for a career that I could live anywhere. And really, that was my motivation. I already loved people, so it didn't matter. And so I went into nursing, and it's like it has changed my entire life. And I was in a very horrible marriage while I was going to nursing school, and that was really bad. And during that period, it's like I met God for the first time, Bella. And things started happening where life was so horrible for me emotionally that only God was my hope. Only in God I found any trust. And so my last day of nursing school, I came home and I couldn't believe that after 2 years of nursing school and 2 years of marital abuse, here I was only 2 weeks away from graduation. And I just fell on my knees and I just started crying out to God and I was worshiping and I was thankful. I was broken. It was all the pieces, all the hurt, everything that happened that I held in those 2 years to be successful in nursing school. I felt every weight and I just started crying to God. And I felt like I didn't know how to express what I was feeling on the inside. And so I reached for my Bible. And Bella, I just wanted words from the Bible to speak for me. And when I opened the Bible, it opened randomly. But now I know it's not random. It opened randomly to Psalms 119, verse 175. And David said, "Let my soul live, and it shall praise thee." And I said, "Yes, God," because I felt like I was sinking. Everything around me that I really cared about, my family, was in disarray. And I felt like my world was falling apart. And when I read David said that, I started crying. I said, "Yes, God, let my soul live and it shall praise you." And I started singing that song. And, that song helped me today. And so a couple years after I left New York, I literally ran away from New York because we had to separate, and he was stalking me. And I left New York and I came to Georgia and still worked as a nurse. And thank God for that career. And I kept moving on and I did my master's degree in nursing, and I went back for my nurse practitioner, and now I'm a doctor of nursing. And I wrote my book, and it's called Just Let My Soul Live. And I tell my story in that book, and it's on Amazon. And I also wrote a second book called My God Encounter Moments, and that's also on Amazon. And after working as a nurse practitioner, traveling nurse practitioner, I've been with United Healthcare now. It's going to be 9 years in March. And I've been doing this job for almost 5 years. And after working and seeing the disparity within the healthcare, and after seeing the poverty here in South Georgia, and I was really surprised, I must tell you, I was really surprised that it was not how I would see it in Atlanta, but it was a lot of our Caucasian brothers and sisters who were living in such poverty in the rural areas of Georgia, that moved me, along with those who had not much knowledge about how to take care of their diseases. Diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. They just said, "Oh, the doctor said," and the doctor said. And I don't know, this is what the doctor said. And do you know your numbers? I don't know what my A1C is. I don't know what my blood pressure is. I don't know what my cholesterol numbers are. And I was like, oh my God. And I became very sensitive to that. And I started spending more time with those that I meet. And I remember there's a small town that I visited, and a young lady asked me if I could come back into the town to teach and educate those in the community on diabetes. I was so happy to do that. It's 2 hours away from my house. I did that on my own time. A few times I've been there, even to see one person, just to teach them how to manage their diabetes, just to educate them. And so that is a true passion of mine. And so when I started my journey as my doctoral journey for school, and you have to come up with a thesis. That was my thesis on health coaching, how effective it will be between doctors' visits, someone to be there, to be that medium, to help, to help motivate, to make whatever the doctor told you in a rush more understandable, to look at your culture and say you can modify things. You don't have to give up what you love to eat. It just takes some modification, and just to break that down to help. And so I wrote, that was my thesis. I did a study within the African American community, and that was my thesis. And I'm so passionate about that during the pandemic last year, God really spoke to me, and it became just like just this energy inside of me to begin my own company where I can coach others with their diseases to help educate them, motivate them, not let them feel so overwhelmed, because it is overwhelming, especially when you have diabetes. And so now I started and I asked God, what should I call the company? And I heard within my spirit, how may I help you?
That's awesome. So, Jackie, we know we're into the going into the second year, if we could say. I know I kind of go back to March prior to me resigning from my job. Last March of 2020 was the actual physical time when I was told, go home, right? When everything shut
Mhm.
down. And we're now into February. So, talk a little bit so the audience can understand how they can be equipped with just the basics that you talked about as far as this coronavirus. And of course, now we're talking about the vaccine.
Right. So with the coronavirus, it has been preached over and over from the beginning. Not many of us listened, not many of us paid attention. It's simply three things. The three W's I always say: wear your mask, and you wash your hands, and you watch your distance. And those things are effective. I do travel a lot. Every week I'm out of town in a hotel, and even the hotel has changed. They don't come in every day for services. And I go into people's homes and I do house calls. I'm wearing my mask and wear my gloves, and I'm asking them also to wear their mask. Okay. And I'm sanitizing. And I want to say to the audience, please follow those guidelines. I just have a friend who was just admitted this week. He's in his 40s with coronavirus. It is still out there. You can still get it. It really affects your breathing. And if you have other medical issues like diabetes and heart issues, it even multiplies. And so I am saying it makes it harder for you if your immune system is already compromised. So I am saying, please wash your hands, sanitize, wear your mask, and avoid large crowds. I have been vaccinated. I did receive mine about 2.5 weeks ago. Monday, I'll get my second dose of the Pfizer, and I had no issues. It was just a little bit sore in my arm a couple hours afterwards, and then it went away about 2 hours. So you need to find out within your community. Call up your health department. Go online and find out where the vaccines are being given in your community. Speak with your doctor. If you're at the age, check out the criteria based on where you live, because it was started with the age group, and it was started with those frontline and nurses and doctors. So you want to know, where do you fall in line? And find out and be aggressive about that. I will tell you, yesterday I had to see a member, and before I went to see the member called my company to ask if I had received the vaccine. So I know it's catching on, and I'm glad about that. Most of my members now are saying, oh, I did receive one dose, or I did receive, I'm waiting for the second one. And so it's good. But I'm saying, for those who are skeptical, of course, if you have allergies and you're always allergic to almost anything, you want to talk to your doctor. But there are prophylactic measures that can be taken, and you can be safe. And so please, this vaccine will help to give you more immunity, and you won't get COVID-19 for taking the vaccine, because it's not live. Okay, so you won't get that. You won't get it. I'll say it. You won't get COVID-19 for taking that vaccination. And also check that whoever is giving you information, it's credible sources, not just someone or your neighbor saying something, or something on Facebook or Wikipedia. Make sure you go to the sources. Go to CDC if you don't know where else to go. Those are scientists there. And so, once again, you cannot get COVID-19 vaccine just because you're taking the vaccine, because it's not a live virus in there. So please go out and check out in your community where you can get it, when you fall in line, make an appointment at Walgreens or CVS. Call them even if they tell you it's 2 months, make the appointment and keep checking around. Keep your spot and keep
Jackie, I
checking
have a
around.
question. No, thank you. And this is just general. And we're tonight is not we want to debunk myths, but we don't want to get into argument debate. We also going to make a disclaimer. We are giving the information. It's up to you, audience,
That's right.
individually. But please, we're giving you information so you can make an informed decision. And my question, just for me, Jackie, is why? Because I'm uneducated. Why do we have to get 2 doses? Just a simple question of that. Can you explain that in layman terms? Why do we have to get 2 doses?
Because it's not effective with one dosage. So when you also get the second dosage, you have to wait 2.5 weeks before you're fully immune up to the 95% effectiveness. Okay. And so even with the one dosage, you need to still wear your mask and you still need to keep your distance because you're not fully immune. And also, based on what we're talking about, I was not forced to take the vaccine. My job gave us all the options. And so, no one is saying you have to take it. But I would say it's a good thing to do.
Thank you for that. Let's talk a little bit about, because I know I heard the word diabetes. I know there's a lot of people that fall under that umbrella. I know maybe you can explain just the basic type 1, type 2, and just how that affects and interacts to what you're talking about tonight, Jackie. I know that's your passion.
Yes, diabetes is really a passion of mine. And that's one of the motivation behind How May I Help You. Um, See, many people are walking around and they don't know that they have diabetes. So, type 1 diabetes, your body doesn't make any insulin. Okay. And type 2, you make some insulin, but it's not enough. And so, what it is when you eat carbohydrates and then your beta cell is not producing enough insulin to burn that off, it just floats around that sugar in your blood, and then it damages your vessels, like your nervous system. Then you start getting neuropathy and pain, and you can't see, and it then just affects a whole lot of different organs. But the thing with diabetes, it can be managed. Before, we thought it was a death sentence, but it can be managed. And so you need to know your numbers. You need to know, if the doctor say you're pre-diabetic and he says, oh, but your number is good, ask what is good. What is the value for good? Because you need to know if your lifestyle is really complementing those numbers. Are you eating the right food? Are you exercising? Are you managing your portions? And are you taking your medication? Is it working? That's the key. And so people are in denial sometimes, and I can understand that. But I would say to you, don't stay in denial. Take action and be aggressive about it, because diabetes is one of those diseases that silently just affects you and get worse over the years. And then you'll get to a stage where there's no turning back. And so, even for me personally, last summer, my A1C hit 6.5. And I was like, heck no. And I worked on it. I changed my diet, Bella. And what I did when I went back in 6 months, I was below even diabetic numbers. My cholesterol was even affected, lower. My blood pressure, lower. So I know personally it can be managed. Don't be afraid. You just have to take action. Don't feel like, oh, I can't eat that piece of chicken or fried chicken. Oh, I can't eat potato chips. It's in moderation. And so, how may I help you? Look at the whole picture of that individual, their culture, their background, their belief system, and say, all right, I am going to help you to make sure you know how to help yourself. So
That's
don't walk away from, oh, I don't want to hear the numbers. I don't, no, I don't. I'm not going to take insulin. I'm not going to do this.
Well, Jackie,
But
I'm going to put myself out there as people know. No, I really am, because here's my story, and I need some suggestive health, right? How may
mhm,
I help you? This is how you can help me, Jackie, and this is transparent. I know Bella has gained at least 40 pounds since this pandemic. Truth. I know Bella has been eating off the chart since Bella's been home, like millions of people working from home, right? Off
mhm,
the charts eating, because this adjustment period going from working in the office, as you well know, to working at home. So, along with those pounds, which I know a lot of people have also gained in poor, right? Eating
mhm.
habits, we're off the chart. Along with that, some people go to the doctors, some people do not. But I know I don't physically feel at my best. Why? Because I know I'm overweight and I'm still eating the wrong things. So I want us to talk a little bit about these preventive things, Jackie. I know that we can do, right, as just everyday folk at home. Whether we've got families, children, no children, we're taking providing for elderlies, whatever. I know we all can take responsibility about that. So talk a little bit about these practicality things that we can do, because I know I'm listening, because I'm not healthy. I can feel it. I'm not eating the right things. I'm probably not drinking enough water. So some of the basic things that can be applicable to all of us, Jackie, while we're on.
So, Linda, the first thing you did, Bella, was you admitted. And first, that's what you need to do. Admit that you want to make change. And with losing weight, you can start gradually. Those crash diets will just bring you right back. Make it a lifestyle. So, this is what I say: plan, make a plan. What are the things you have for breakfast? What do you have for lunch? And what do you have for dinner and snacks? You have to eat at least 7 times a day. It sounds like a lot to lose weight, right? But your metabolism needs to work. And that's one way that it works. So also look at your plate, your 9-inch plate, as a clock. And from 12 to 6, which is half of your plate, should be vegetables, whether it's raw vegetables or steamed vegetables. And the other half you cut in another half. So a quarter of that is your starch and a quarter is your protein. Bella, I trust me, if you start that way, you'll see a big difference. Cut out your sugar. If you're drinking lots of juices and sodas, you need to cut that out. And I'm not talking about going to diet stuff. You need to wean your way from sugary products. Okay. Secondly, also milk, because milk has sugar in there. Some people are like, I'm having cereal. If you're going to have some cereal, use a smaller bowl. Your portion sizes. Eat more fruits and vegetables, so that high fiber will cause you to eliminate better. Because a lot of this starts in the gut, what we're holding in inside of our gut. And Bella, last but not least, of course, another thing, water. You mentioned water. Drink plenty of water, but also walk. And this is what I say for those who don't go outside. You sit there, you're watching TV, commercial comes on, you walk. Every commercial come, you walk throughout the commercial. Just start small. And if you're in pain, you get some pain medication, before you're walking, and you walk at least. If you can't do a lot, they say 30 minutes, 5 days a week, 150 minutes for the week. That's great. But if you can't, do baby steps and it will make a difference. It can happen, but you have to plan. And when if you feel weak, just like in anything else, you ask God to give you the help and the strength. I travel a lot, and so I don't eat fast foods. I bring my food with me. I cook, pre-cook, or I do a little cooking. I'm not going to say where, but I eat mostly fish and chicken breast, and I have whole lots of vegetables. I drink plenty of water. I barely drink anything else, juice or none of that stuff. I really cut out my sugar and I try to exercise as much as I can. Most of the their exercise rooms are closed, and I still do my squats and walk along in my room, just keep moving, just take action. Keep moving. You can do this. It's portion control.
Oh,
More fruits,
absolutely.
more vegetables.
Absolutely. Jackie, I want to get into a little bit about because I know you do a lot for the community as well as your 9 to 5, which really isn't a 9 to 5, more like a 12 by 10. But I want you to just expound a little bit because I know I'm going to partake of some of your conferences and some of the things that you are helping people because I love what you said earlier. You said you talked about it's your passion. I know you're a passionate woman. You go out of your way because that's what God tells you to do to
Hmm.
educate us. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, but when you know what you know, you've got to be responsible, right, Jackie? So
Right.
talk a little bit about
That's
some of these services that you do offer to us and just what we can do. Because I know one thing, we have a tendency to want to blame other people all the time. I always say it starts with
yes.
you, right? So
Hmm.
expound on that a little bit if you mind.
So I'm involved with the Edwards Foundation that we like to give back school supplies. So that will come up in the fall for sure. But before that, we like to make or get donations to help with that. Also, I will continue to speak out on healthy living. I do have my company. I'm about to open. I promise it's coming. I'm just doing more certification, just getting more knowledge for my own self. Because what I see, Bella, is that God started this work in me. And I look at myself today and I was thinking, like constructing a house. And you start with the construction site, right? You clear that away. And then you pour in the foundation. And so I feel like God has been pouring in me over the years. And for me to have that solid foundation. And now I feel like a little brick is adding and a little drywall is adding and the framing is coming together. And so, how may I help you? I expect us to be a force in our community. There, it's a fee for service, but I'm not about the money. I'm about to help people. I will speak at any conference. I will speak at any community services. I'm setting up myself to be um, CDC certified, so and Medicare certified, so I can help those who need, who also have Medicaid. And so I can talk to them. I can help them manage because diabetes is a passion of mine. And I really want to help people to let them know you can help yourself and I will help you help you. And that is really what my passion is, to help people because with diabetes, of course, the high blood pressure is there. I've never met anyone with diabetes that doesn't have high blood pressure and high cholesterol.
You know,
And
that's
so
funny, Jack. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you were hitting
you're
some
fine.
pain points. I mean, in the African American, this is Black History Month. I always advocate 365, but we have some, can I say, myths, and we've got some things that we kind of do traditionally that we need to let go, right? And so we tend to do a lot of overeating, fried foods, right? Not enough vegetables, fruit, natural. I know people are holistic, people are pescatarians, vegans, all of that. But I know just the basic, because I remember growing up with the 4 food group, dating myself, right, Jackie? That whole back when they were really teaching about health, right? And they
Hmm.
were teaching about nutrition, at least a portion of it. And I remember the whole 4 group and what you said, the 9-inch plate, and it was broken out in the 4 quarter. I still remember that with a colorful, right,
Yes, yes,
diagram trying to teach
yes,
us.
yes,
Gotta have the starch, gotta have the meat, right? Come on, Jackie, and just
yes.
so we need to be re-educated. If I'm hearing you correctly, I know certainly I'm always open.
Yes,
Um,
we need to be re-educated. As we get older, our body changes. And some of us want to eat cereal like we were 9 years old, but we need to realize no, now we're 39 and 49 years old, and we can't have all that sugar, most of us. can't have all that sugar. We're not moving as the young people moves, and they're in PE and physical education, and no. And so we have to change our eating habits. We have to change. Most of us are not that healthy as before. And so our beta cells, if they're not working at the level that they need to work, then we have to change how we eat. If our body's not producing the insulin like it used to, then we have to change the way we eat. We cannot force our body to adapt to these foods. It's just not going to happen. So we need to think about that. You don't have to blame yourself. That's how nature takes some of us, hereditary. We got to know our background to see what did grandma have. That's another link. What did grandma have? What killed grandma, by the way? Okay. And so that brings me to the point of preventive medicine, going yearly to get checked up at least once a year, getting the mammogram done,
And
getting the
Jackie,
pap smear done.
I like you to interject. I'm interjecting because another pain point that you're hitting, I tell people all the time, even within my own family, you have to know your history. Because
Yes.
I know I've been going to the doctors all my life, and I'm an advocate for going to the doctor because God knows, people who know me, I got an itch, I got a pain. I am at the doctor's because why? I am paying for health insurance. But more importantly, I'm finding a lot of people don't know their history. And I know I have a history, unfortunately, from on my matriarch side of breast cancer. That's what my
Mm.
mom passed away of, and it's very prevalent. And so I'm very much in tune, and I have a daughter. And so we try to educate each other, say, hey, listen, make sure when you go to the doctors that you tell that part of your history. But talk a little bit about that, because I sometimes find it uncanny that people like, I don't know, like you really need to educate yourself and understand, like you say, what grandmama and them did, what they died of to some degree, and just what's hereditary in your family, right?
Yeah, so and you mentioned that it's really important. So breast cancer screening, it's women between the age of 50 to 74 every 2 years. Or if you have a family history, you need to let your doctor know because you need to go in earlier. And the same thing goes for prostate cancer. If there's a history, you need to go in earlier than 50 years old to get it checked because earlier it's better, and its prevention is better than cure anytime. So, and for us, what about osteoporosis screening? Your bone density, get that checked out age 65 or older, and also lung cancer screening.
Mm-hmm.
Adults age 55 through 80 who are currently cigarette smokers. Hey, cigarette smokers. Or if you even quit within the last 15 years, you should have your lung cancer screening done. And another one, aortic aneurysm screening.
Mm-hmm.
Men aged 65 to 75 who have smoked. Cervical screening, cancer screening, or pap smear. Women aged 21 through 65. Women aged 30 to 65 with HPV test. And so cholesterol screening, anyone with diabetes. Your vision, checking for cataracts, glaucoma. Some people like, oh, I can't see. When was the last time you had your eyes tested? Oh, it's been years. Really?
Right.
Yeah. So we need to keep up on those. And if you're diabetic, once a year, you get your eyes checked for retinopathy. You get your feet checked by a podiatrist. Also, a very good idea, once a year, get your toenails clipped by a podiatrist, not Mrs. Chin, and I'm not stereotyping here.
Okay.
Yes, that's important. And also hepatitis A vaccine. Any adults who want to be protected, it's out there. 1 dose every year, 2 to 3 doses depending on your vaccine. And your flu shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's really recommended for all adults. 1 dose every year. Hepatitis B. pneumonia vaccine, your tetanus shot, one dose, then booster every 10 years. Colon cancer screenings.
Mm.
That's a big one. Colonoscopy every 10 years. Or you can do just the fecal occult blood, and you can do that every year if you don't want to do a colonoscopy. And that's age 50 to 75. I had my first one and it was no issues.
Right. I'm gonna tell you right now, Jackie, as you're going down, I'm just doing a check for Bella because we have a lot of cliches, but this one is truly spot on. You do better when you know better. And education is key. And I'm gonna just again use myself. I'm transparent. There's a lot of things out there for you. I used to work at the CDC a little moons ago here in Atlanta. Very proud to say I worked there. And they got me in the mindset of, do you know that you can go online and check things yourself as an individual person? I did not know that. And PubMed, and I'm just naming some things that
Yes.
I've worked with. There's a lot, and I'm not endorsing any of them, but there's a lot. When you Google, there's a lot of medical websites, right, and publications, as you well know, Jackie, that you can go out there. It's
And find
so much information. I'm not saying too much information is not good. What I'm saying is you don't have to take the doctors or Jenny down the road. I mean, you can self-educate to some degree. Now, I'm not saying be a medical doctor, Jackie, but I'm just supporting you, and information is out there. Where
right. And
it wasn't out there.
And that is true. And this is one thing that I do emphasize with my clients. So even I tell them, remember, this is about your health.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say, what is your A1C? And they would say to me, or I don't know, the doctor knows. And I would say, you need to know what your numbers are. So sometimes when the doctor gives you information, you can take it a little bit farther and research upon that information and see what else can I do. Because sometimes you're 30 minutes in the doctor's office, it goes by pretty fast. You don't recall what the doctor told you,
Right.
and you're confused by the time you get home. And that confusion can lead to frustration, and then you just give up.
Right. Well, what I want to do is take a few minutes, Jackie, and I want you, we've got still some time to go, but I want to take this time, if you don't mind, Jackie, just to urge the listening audience to educate yourself. And I'm going to say, because it's Black History Month, we have these historical past. Some of us, I never talk in an overall general content, because
Right.
we're all individuals, but some of us, we just don't like to go to the doctor still. We still have some of these myths. Oh, I'm not going. And I understand some of that's from our historical, right? Our history. We don't kind of want to know what's going on with us. I can remember when we didn't want to talk about the big C. And for years, I'm dating myself, and I don't mind, Jackie. I used to grow up saying, they never said the word cancer. It was like, what is the big C? All these myths that we have. Oh, I'm not going to the doctor. I don't have the money to go to the doctor. Well, I mean, I just want to take the opportunity, and I know you support me, Jackie. Get out. There's a lot of information, but if you're not feeling well, and Jackie, you talked about this, your body does talk to you.
Yes,
whether you
ma'am.
want to hear it or not, your body, let me say it again, Jackie, support me, Jackie. Your body tells you what's going on. And I
Yes.
know, here go Bella, a lot of times I acknowledge it and sometimes I don't. But I know during this pandemic, because we're going through, and I'm about educating our people and our tribe, we've got to learn how to take a bull by the horn, Jackie, and take control of some of the things that we normally, give it to the doctors.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Miss Jackie saved me. Miss Jackie can't save you. Miss Jackie can steer you. I want you to talk about that, Jackie, because what I want to do of the people looking out, and I know a lot of people is out there, let's dispel some of these daggone myths. And I'm going to tell you one right now, and I'm going to shut up. Talk about sugar, because that's my enemy. Sugar, sugar, sugar. I got somebody saying sugar, everything is in sugar. That's Michelle Davis. There's sugar in everything, no escaping it. Speak to that for a few minutes if you don't mind, Jackie.
And Michelle, I would say to you, you don't have to escape it, but you can limit it. That's the key. You must limit. You need to know, first of all, this is what it is. You need to know how your body reacts to the foods that you're eating. And that's the reason why you do the blood work. That's the reason why you go to the doctor. You want to know, is my lifestyle, is it positively affecting my body or negatively? And then you make the adjustments accordingly. And so going to the doctor, it should really be for information only, for you to take the action that is required. It's because he can't do it for you. He's only passing on the information and his expertise and his advice to you. If you see it like that, then you won't be afraid to go to the doctor, because the control is really within you. So you're just getting the information. And so carbohydrates, the breads, the starchy foods, the potatoes, the rice, our body loves those foods, and so they break down into sugar. And so if our pancreas is not working and providing the insulin that's needed, because the insulin is a hormone, right? And it uses to transport the sugar into the cell for energy. And so when that's not happening, because our body is not making enough insulin, then it flows around in our bloodstreams. Mm-hmm. And that's why you have high blood sugar. Mm. That's how that works. And so I went to a naturopathic doctor after, you say, grab the bull by the horn, after Thanksgiving, because I wanted to know more about my body. And of course, not everyone can afford that. But here's something I want to say to someone based on money before I go any farther. You don't have to have insurance to go to the doctor. The same way you save your money to buy that special thing that you need, you save your money, because doctors' offices, they take cash.
Come on, Jackie.
Okay. And so if you're in a position where your finances are really badly, you can apply for Medicaid. Okay. Or you can find a local clinic in your area that's offering for indigent folks. You can go to some kind of a wellness program at least once a year to find out what's going on with you, because that's how you're going to take action. You need to know how your body is reacting to those foods. So listen, you're grown. This is what I say. You're grown now. Twinkies, no, if it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Put the Twinkies away. Leave it for the 5-year-old. Okay, that's run around. Come on now. I love to eat anything and everything. I will buy a little quart of ice cream, and I have a few scoops out of it. And Bella, I tell you honest truth, I throw the rest away. My body.
So we talking moderation.
Moderation. My body does not work with all that sugar. You got to know your numbers. And so I went to the naturopathic doctor, and they did a whole blood work on me and stool and everything. And I changed totally how I'm eating, and I feel so much better.
So Jackie, I feel healthy. I love to educate, and I'm going to peel back the onion. We've got some time, but I want to hit some pain points to my lovely family out there. We can control what and I'm going to say right now, a shout out wherever he is to Dr. William Richardson. I'm going to say that slowly and proudly, because that doctor there brought a lot of light to me, Jackie, when I was very sick over 10 years ago. I mean, I was sick, didn't know what was wrong with me. And he was the first medical doctor to say to me, Dr. Jackie, hey, I don't know what's wrong with you. It could be two things. That's another episode. It's either your heart or your brain. And I have never in my entire adult life heard a doctor to say, which is fine. Nobody's perfect. We're not gods. I don't know what's wrong with you, but we're going to figure it out together. And he did. And so it's about taking control.
Hmm.
It's a lot of myths out there, stuff that we're doing. I know me. I got a full plate of food. I think I gotta eat it. No, you don't, because if
No,
you're full halfway, don't eat it, right? So I want you to continue to educate simple, basic things. And I'm so loving and thank you for talking about the whole I don't have an insurance card thing, right? Because from
yes,
what I understand, if I'm sick, I'm going somewhere to get treated, whether I have insurance or not. That is my right as a citizen because I do pay tax dollars. I want people to hear that because I understand, Jackie, hospitals cannot technically turn you
turn your
away.
back.
Am I
Right.
correct?
Hmm. That is correct. But I wanted to emphasize to everyone at least once a year, go to your doctor, whether you like to going to the doctor or not, or whatever it is, at least once a year, because many people also have insurance and they don't show up to the doctor. And I say to them, you are paying for this already. At least once a year, get a physical, a head to toe assessment, your blood work. That's going to check how your kidneys are functioning. It's going to check your hemoglobin, the oxygen in your blood. It's going to check how thick your blood is. It's going to check all the different organs in your body and to see how you're functioning. Check your A1C, check your glucose levels. And so at least once a year, you can get an EKG done. And also, if you're older than 45, you can get these things done at least once a year. So if you have insurance, go. If you don't have insurance, plan for it. Call the local doctor's office, find out how much it is, find out how much it would be for the lab work, because that's a separate payment, and save for it at least once a year. And then when you know what is going on, then you'll really know what is affecting you or what you should stay away from. And so I would implore everyone, don't be afraid to go to the doctor. The doctor, you're in control. You have rights. The
Right.
doctor works for you.
Say that
And you
one more
have to
time, Jackie.
remember
Say
that
that one more time.
the doctor works for you. And if your doctor is not showing you that respect, you go to another doctor. You are not obligated to be in the presence of anyone that's not treating you respect, that's not listening to your concerns, that's not hearing what you're saying, and not even understanding who you are. Even now, diabetes, the American Diabetes Association, it's all about individualizing plan of care.
Hmm.
It's not one shot for everybody. It's looking at the whole picture of that individual and coming up with a plan that will work for that person.
That's good. Jackie, I got two things I want to say as our time is winding down that I want to get in. I know this is only an hour segment. I want you to touch base because I will, yes, audience, I will have Dr. Jackie back because this month I am deeming how may I help you along with some other great programming, but I'm focusing specifically on health. And I just want to do, today is World Cancer Day. I'm very
Mm,
keen as to what's going on. And we're also going through the whole celebration of Heart Disease Week. As you well know, Jackie, a lot of people are wearing red. So I wanted to kind of acknowledge that because I'm very in touch with the medical field. Jackie, touch a little bit on the mental health, the mind, body, spirit, because when you come back, and you will be back soon. We talked about this. I want you to
mhm.
go over that because that's one of your expertise areas, but just touch base a little bit about how it's important about how we're thinking during this pandemic. I mean, there's no myth about what we're going through. We're all experiencing the cabin fever, the climbing up the
Yes,
wall. Let's keep it real.
yes.
We gotta dispel these myths and break through these chains. So talk a little bit about that, Jackie, if you don't mind.
Really, that is, I mean, last year was really hard for a lot of us. It's getting a little bit better. But I found myself in a place where I was questioning my own mental status. Like, am I lonely or. And I'm like, wow. And so it was crazy. After a while, everything started coming in. The walls started coming in. But I want to say you need to find some kind of a network, some group, someone that you keep in touch with.
Yeah.
and not be afraid, someone you're comfortable to share your feelings with. Okay. To say, listen, man, I'm driving going crazy because I'm bored and I don't feel good today. I'm really sad. You need that one person. And if you don't have even one person, you got to learn to pray. I ain't lying. I am not joking about that. You got to talk to your creator who knows you more than anybody else,
Amen.
who understands you more than anybody else. You got to talk to him, and I say him, and tell God how you feel, what's going on. But don't keep anything to yourself. Don't let this emotional part of you get the best of you. I fight depression and anxiety and feeling alone. I fight it just like everybody else who may be in my position because I know it's a lie. It's speaking lie to me. I am not alone. I know I am not alone. I have a lot of things going on for me. But the enemy always also wants to trap us in there. And for those, there are some people who really are dealing with clinical depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say to you, make sure you have a psychiatrist or a psychologist and to talk to. Don't just keep things to yourself. Don't just get a journal and write your feelings. Get help. Don't be ashamed. Don't be, it used to be a time when people were really ashamed, and some people maybe are still ashamed to say they're depressed
Mm-hmm.
or they suffer from depression and anxiety. I had some anxiety over a year ago, and I didn't know where it was coming from. And the first thing that came to my mind was I wanted to see if my physical heart was okay, because I was having, also my heart was racing when I was having those anxiety moments, and they would just come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a cardiologist to get my heart checked, and I wore a Holter monitor for a week because every night about 10 o'clock, I would get some anxiety and my heart would race, and I didn't know what was wrong. And I started to evaluate everything about my life. I would just go in my closet and sit quietly and just think, where am I hurting? Where is that deep pain inside of me? Because I know it was something that was causing me to react that way, even though I wasn't conscious that I was really thinking about anything at the moment. And Bella, I found it. I found it and I gave it to God.
Mm.
I found it and I gave it to God because it's real. My body was reacting. So to anyone out there, whatever you're feeling is real, but you can't handle it by yourself. You can't take it by yourself. We need help. All of us need help. We need each other. And if you can't find anyone to talk to, then I'm saying to you, talk to your creator. That's what I did. At first, I wanted to know that my physical heart was doing okay, you know? And then I said, okay, so my heart is doing okay. I'm gonna get to the source of what's really causing my stomach to be anxious.
Yes.
You gotta search sometime. Just be quiet and just reflect and think about the things in your life that's hurting you. What are you carrying? What burdens are you carrying that you haven't been able to release? What are you desiring that you're not attaining and that's really bothering you on the inside? So I would say if you can't find anyone, just talk to yourself. I talk to myself in my closet, and I consoled myself when the tears would come and the anxiety and feeling of loneliness. I would say, okay, all right. All right, tears. Let's hope in God. All right, emotions. Let's hope in God. All right, disappointments. Let's hope in God. And I'll go back because I know my feelings. It's temporary, but it's true and it's real, but it's also a lie because it's really not my reality.
That's it. Jackie, I just wish I had another hour segment. I do not, but what I want to do, I want you to leave because I didn't even want to stop you. Some end parting words. Yes, family, I am going to have Jackie back because Jackie is a solo toll of a whole lot. And she's going to even talk about some additional things. But Jackie, they see your information on the ticket, but I want you to leave the audience about some preventive, about this coronavirus, about the vaccine, and just simple, basic things we can do starting now as we close out.
My people, what I'll say to you, whatever you did yesterday or didn't do yesterday, let's forget about it. Let's start over. Let's start anew. Let's throw out, yes, let's throw out the negatives. Let's get real information, the truth. Go to the sites that is credible, the sites that are there to help you, and let's start over. Look at yourself and talk to yourself. Encourage yourself. If you're not healthy, if you want to lose weight, if you haven't been to the doctor, if you weren't wearing masks, if you didn't believe the COVID situation, and you don't know if you should have the vaccine or not, talk, ask, seek, the Bible says, and you shall find. And I'm encouraging you. Credible source, that's what it is. Credible information. Credible information. Please wear your mask when you go out. Social distance, not because you know it's your friend. You have to keep away until they're safe and you are safe. Because a couple of my friends have COVID. Okay. And so it's important for you to sanitize. I sanitize my steering wheel and my gear stick every time I go in from the supermarket or from someone's house. I'm sanitizing. And I'm also telling you to wash your hands. When you get home, change your clothes and bathe. Doesn't matter. I bathe all the time now. And I say now because every time I go out, I don't know. I have to hug my mom. She lives with me. I have to take care of my mom. So just abide by the rules. We want to fight this and we can do it. We can do it together. Don't let ignorance kill us, but let knowledge keep us alive.
Mm, mm.
Thank you.
Miss Jackie, Dr. Jackie, you know you're a lot of names to me, right? I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. Listening audience, I hope you've grabbed this. For those, if you want to replay it, please replay it. We're going to go out with a little bit of music, but Godspeed, keep those masks on. Remember, it's Black History Month. We love you. Thank you so much, Miss Jackie.
Thank you.